Well, I spoke to President Erdogan on Saturday, and he expressed Turkish concerns, as we also have seen publicly. And when an ally is concerned, we do as we always do in NATO. We sit down and we look for a solution. And normally we find a solution. I'm confident we'll find that also in this case. And we need to recognize that Turkey is an important ally. No other ally has suffered more terrorist attacks than Turkey. And they're key in the fight both against Daesh, ISIS in Iraq and Syria, but also in addressing Russia in the Black Sea.
So to be clear, you are confident that the Turkish concerns will be sorted and that Finland and Sweden will join?
I'm confident that we will find a solution. We need agreement by 30 allies, so we have some work to do. But we are in close contact with Stockholm, with Helsinki, and with Ankara, and the aim, and I'm confident we'll be able to find a solution.
So what do you think Russia's response will be? I know it's not your job to get into the mind of President Putin, but it is your job to work out the possible scenarios that you... So what do you think they're going to do?
I think they will protest. We are prepared for hybrid and cyber attacks. We have seen that they have cut off gas and electricity supplies and that kind of stuff. But any serious armed attack is highly unlikely, partly because, of course, when Finland and Sweden becomes members, then we have Article 5. NATO allies have stepped up their presence in the Baltic region also to provide security assurances in the meantime.
So now those assurances, they're individual, they're bilateral, etc. When do you think, realistically, when do you think that Sweden and Finland, assuming Turkey goes along with it, will be able to look at come under the protection of Article 5? How long? A year? 18 months? 6 months?
I think about... First, we need to sign the accession protocol. I hope that can happen quite soon. Then we need the ratification in all the parliaments. That will take some months. And I cannot speak on behalf of 30 parliaments, but what I can say is that many allies have expressed a strong will to do that as quickly as possible.
Is Ukraine prevailing militarily?
Ukraine can win this war, and Ukraine has demonstrated much more strength and much more competence in fighting the invading Russian forces than most experts expected, and they are receiving enormous amount of military support from NATO allies and other countries. But wars are unpredictable, and therefore we should always be careful about predicting. Our task is to support Ukraine in upholding the right to self-defense.
Do you see a potential, and I guess I'm asking you this not just as NATO Sec Gen, but also as a former politician who's well aware of the political realities. Can you see a scenario where Ukraine wants to push further, but the people, but you know, other governments facing inflation, public unrest, people saying no, we've got to get out of this war? Ukraine, there's a difference in the definition of what constitutes success. War fatigue.
Yeah, but I think war fatigue, I mean, Ukraine is suffering the most. They are losing people every day. They are on the front line every day. So I really realize that we have problems and challenges also in our countries, not being directly involved in the war, but we need to support Ukraine, not least because this is about fundamental principles. If we accept that Russia once again can use violence and achieve their aims by the use of military force, then the world becomes more dangerous, also for our countries, for NATO allies.
Right.